Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner. Oh, my head's cut off. This is Virginia Milner coming to you from the DeKalb County Library System. And I wanted to do something just a little different today. I have all of these really neat rocks, stones. I've got some agate, I've got some jasper, but they're all different kind of shapes. They're nothing in particular. They're beautifully polished, but they don't have any particular form or shape. And I wanted to show you how to turn something like this into a pendant. It There's not a particular wrap that you can do because it doesn't have nice two front and back, flat front and back, and nice neat rounded sides, or even nice neat square sides. It's just a stone shape. Oh, isn't that neat? Look at that. That is beautiful. This really dark green one. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Again, I've got some agate. I've got some jasper. And they reflect the light so beautifully. I think that's some crazy lace agate, maybe. But just gorgeous. And I've been having glare. I've been having so much fun with them. And I wanted to show you how you can do a very simple freeform, not freeform, it's kind of a freeform wrap that you can do that will work with pretty much any shape. I'm going to do this one. This is all over the place. It's flat on one side that I'm going to use for the bottom, and then my top is cut kind of pointy, and one side is flat and the other side is rounded. It's got these little dips in it. It's a stone. It's not been shaped or carved up in a certain way. It is a natural stone, rock, whatever you want to call it. But it's so pretty. I think this is red jasper. But I wanted to just show you how to take something like this and make it into something that you can wear. So that's what we're going to do today. What you're going to need is your basic pliers, round nose, square, flat chain nose, and cutters. You're also going to need 20 gauge wire and a ruler and your stone. And you can see I've got all different sizes. They're just all different sizes and shapes. I love it. This is one of those fun projects. Freeform, here we come. So, and then we're also going to make a rock that I did here. See that? Yeah. Anyway, so then we're also going to, I've been showing you how to do an Egyptian style clasp, and I've been showing it as a separate piece. Now I want to show you how to actually attach it to something. And I've seen variations of different wrapped clasps over leather, and they've been good. But I wanted to do something that I knew was going to be very strong and very secure. And I really loved that that vintage Egyptian clasp. And I get a lot of questions about it. So I just wanted to add that to our leather cord. And that's going to be our program today. We're going to wrap non-conformative stone, and we're going to make our own clasp. So let's get going. I did that again. I keep hitting the wrong button. Anyway, you'd think I've never done this before. It's embarrassing. So, okay, anyway, now let's get going. So what I would suggest, I have a pretty big stone here. It's about 1.5 inches maybe in length alone. Yeah, if I go down through to the very tip of this, 2 inches, a little over 2 inches, and that's just the length. And because of its irregular sides, you can't just use length. So you're kind of guesstimating. So what I just did, and I would suggest that you do, is take whatever the length, whatever length of it is, excuse me, and multiply that by, I multiplied it by 12. So I've got 2 inches here, and I'm going to give myself 2 pieces of 20 gauge wire that are 24 inches long. Then I'll have plenty to work with, and if I need to cut some off, that's fine. But if I want to play around and do something fun when I finish, I can do that too. This is basically what we're going to do, and then we can decorate it at the end, or not. You can do one that doesn't have all of this decorative stuff on it. You can just do a plain one. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to show you how to really zhuzh it up a little bit. If you don't want to do the zhuzh part, you don't have to. You can just skip that and keep going with the straight and arrow wrap. Okay, so I have 2 24-inch pieces of 20 gauge wire here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is find the center of my wire. So that would be 12 inches. And I'm going to scoot over a little bit on either side, because I'm going to make this flat part the bottom. Oops, sorry. I'm going to make this flat part the bottom and this sloped part the top. I'm going to make this my front. So what I want to do is figure out how wide the bottom is. And for me, it's about 1 inch. So what I want to do is find the center of my wire. And I'm going to make a twist. I'm going to twist it. So the way to do that, I don't want to wrap one wire around the other. I actually want to twist them. So what I need to do is spread these out, give myself a V, and then twist both wires at the same time. Just twist it. I'm going to give it 4 twists and see what it's like. So there's 4 twists. I'm going to give it another one. That looks good. And then I'm going to go to the other side. So this is going to be one side. My stone's going to sit here. And I said it was about 1 inch, so I'm going to give myself a little less than 1 inch. And then I'm going to wrap on the other side. So this little center open space here, it's going to be about 7/8 of 1 inch. I'm going to go to the other side. And I'm going to wrap. So I've got that open spot in the center there. I've got my wires and a nice V, and I'm going to twist. I think I twisted the other one 4 times, yes. So there's the start of my wrap. Then I'm going to place my stone on my wire. This little open piece is going to provide a little base. And because this wire is so close to the same color as my rock, I hope you can see that, but here's the open part. And that's going to be right there on the bottom of my rock. And what I can do, spread it open a little bit, like that. And that's going to sit there on the bottom. There's my rock, my stone, right there in the middle of my little open space. I'm going to fold my wrapped side up on each side. I'm just going to do it without the rock in there. So we have that. Fold it up, just fold it up. I need a little bit more twisting on this side. One more twist on this side. Let's see what we have. So this is what I have to settle my stone in. So I have wraps on both sides. This side is twisted wrap, and I've got a twist wrap on the other side. So then what I want to do is take my wires and I want to spread them out, just open them up like so. I'm being very careful because I don't want to poke myself in the eye with this wire. That's no fun at all. Spread that out. Then I'm going to bring the wires across. Bring the wire across one side of my rock until it's crossed over. And I'm going to give it a twist. So I'm going to twist it this up to as a little marker, and you can see where this is going to be the cage part on the side. And now I'm just going to twist it. You can leave your rock in there and do the twist, but I find it sometimes easier not to have to hold on to that. I'm just going to give it 3 twists there. Put my rock back on there. So there's another twist on this side. Then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Just fold my wires across until they form a little X and twist. So now we have a little cradle going here. So there we go so far. Here's the front and the back. There are the sides. So now I'm going to spread my wires again over to the sides. One side, turn it over, spread that open. and then bring those wires together on the side again. So I'm going to cross them over. And twist. I want to give it a nice tight twist. And if you need to, you can always use your pliers. Get it nice and tight. Good. I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Cross my wires over and twist. Good tightening. Go. I'm going to bring my wires up. And look at that. Nice little wrap. I think I can do one more little wrap. Getting up here near the top, so I think I'm just going to do one more right here at the top. Step over, twist. Snug. Same thing on the other side. A little help with my pliers. Get nice and tight. Okay, then I'm going to bring my wires up. Hold them up towards the top of my stone. Ta-da! Ladies and gentlemen, I have a pendant. And now this bottom here, I can open it up a little bit with my pliers or with my fingers. If you're worried about your manicure, you might want to use pliers. Just kind of open it up a little. So I have a little base. And there we go. Now we can create a veil. Very easy. Now I can take this and just twist it and make a veil that way, or I can wrap one of my wires around, which is what I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to take one of my wires, and they're all about the same length, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to wrap it around the other 3 wires. I'm going to follow that around with the second wire and just make a nice big wrap like that. And then once I have it secured here, I'm going to take the other. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you, you need some kind of a cylindrical item to make your bail. I'm just going to use an ink pen. Very simple. So now at this point, you need to decide which side you want to be your front and your back. I think I'm going to go with this side as my front. So I'm just going to take my wire. This is going to be what I use to make my bail, those that are sticking straight up. I'm going to bend it towards my front. Put my pen or pencil or whatever it is you decide to use to make your bail in there, or you can just use your fingers. Really, this is free form. You really don't have to use anything to shape it, but if you're more comfortable using something, then here we go. Let's put this guy in there. Wrap my wires around. Ouch, it's a pencil and it's sticking me. Take my pencil out. Here's my bail. So now what I want to do is squeeze that so that the wire, so it's going to really conform to the shape of a bail and rest against my bead like that, like so. There's my bail. Then I'm going to take those wires that I started wrapping with, and I'm going to wrap them around the outside. Just keep wrapping until it's completely enclosed. So there's my bail. And I have extra wire. I can keep wrapping if I want to make the neck of this bigger, or I can stop. It's up to me. I can stop here, cut this off and tuck the edges, or I can use this wire to make it some decoration on here. I think this is where the freeform comes in. I think I'm going to decorate. So I'm going to leave that there. And then I have the wires that are down the back. What shall we do with those? There's the back. Okay. So I think these wires that are in the back, I think I'm just going to bring them together and just make a little bit of a curve. Oh, I know. There's a little open spot on the side there. I'll just bring them around to the side and do something decorative over here, just because I can. So there, that's it. No biggie. A little curve here, a little loop. Bring it back up to the top. And anchor it around my bail. So that just adds to my wrap. That's it. So I have this little curvature here. There we go. Now what am I going to do with this? What shall I do? What shall I do? I think I'm just going to bring one under the other, wrap it around, and then wrap that one around the first one. I like spirals. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's make a little freeform spiral here. So I'm just going to let the wires chase each other around in a circle. I think that's big enough. I just keep going because I hate losing wire. I hate wasting wire, so I just keep on going. Okay, but I think that's enough. Got a little spiral on the top there. Remainder of it, I think I'll just curve around and tuck under. A little loop. Let's just slide that under the rest of the wires. And the same with this one. Just gonna make a little loop here. And I'm just gonna push it under the rest of the wires so that it won't pop out. And so that I don't have any ends to contend with. Okay, now I have this little end back here. I'm gonna wrap the longer one around it. And make a little loop. And push it down under the other wires. Where it can't do any damage. Put it down there. And then this last one, make another little loop. And just squeeze that down under the other wires. Oh, the joy of freeform. Here we go. Now, this is fine. It's perfectly firm. It's not going anywhere. It's perfectly fine. But if you don't like things like there's this opening in here that you can see, I don't know if you can see that, a little bit of an opening. You see my finger in there. You can take your pliers and give it a little bend, give it a little twist. And that'll push it down. And you don't have just a straight end of wire. You can do that all over. Wherever I have a straight wire, if I want to make it look a little more decorative, just take my pliers, give the wire a twist. Like so. A little twist. Ta-da. And I like my veil to be rabbit-eared. I'm going to open that up a little bit. And there we go. There's my little wrapped stone. All right. And now let's do our clasp. Okay, the first thing I will do is the hook. So for that, I'm going to give myself, I'm going to do a little bit of probably a little decorative spiral, I might. And so I'm going to give myself 6.5 inches of 20 gauge wire for my hook. Okay. So that's the first thing I want. And what I need to do is fold this so that there's 1.25 inches, excuse me. Oh, okay. Fold this so that there's 1.25 inches of wire on one side. That's just hanging down. So I want to give myself 1.25 inches tail is what I can call it. So there we go. Let's double check. 1.25 inches. And I'm going to do a little spiral. If you don't want to do the spiral that you'll see me do, you can just give yourself 3/4 inch. I just need an extra 1/2 inch for a little decoration. So now what I'm going to do is take this center part here and squeeze it until the sides of the wire are together. And you can use your pliers for that. These flat ones for that. And I just put it, rest it on my finger and just slowly tap it. Easily, just kind of tap it until I get it closed up, until it's side by side. As close as I can get it without the wires crossing over. And you're going to have to be patient with that because if you squeeze too hard, they're going to cross over. So that's good. There we go. Okay, so make sure my wires are side by side. I don't know why I'm losing my voice. Side by side, but not crossed over. Nice and close together. And then I'm going to give myself 3/4 inch of wire. It depends on how big you want your hook to be. I want a decent sized hook. So I'm just going to fold it over from here when I make my hook. So I need to go down, I'm going to give myself 1/2 inch or a little more than half. So I'm going to go down to about 1 1/8 of an inch of wire. So that when I fold over, I'll have a nice sized hook. It's about 1/2 inch, a little more than 1/2 inch, about 1/2 inch, and then I have the little hoop part that I have to go over. So I have to give myself about 1 1/8 inches, yeah, about 1 1/8 inches, or 1 1/4 inches of wire. And then I'm going to take the long edge of my wire and I'm going to bend it up like so. Then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to grab hold right there at that bend. I'm going to start a little wrap. I'm not going to go any further than this. It's nice and open. And then I'm going to take one end of my leather. Did I tell you about the leather? My leather cord. Take my leather cord. You decide how long you want it to be. Take one end of my leather cord and I'm going to feed it in here in between the two lengths of wire. Just right there in that little circle that I just made. Then I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to hold on to the wires and my leather. Just keep it nice and together. And I'm going to start wrapping. The first ones are the most important because you want to get it nice and tight. Wrap it around the leather and the wire. Just wrap it once, take a look, see what it looks like. That looks good. Keep wrapping down the leather. And every once in a while, I'll take it out and look at it and make sure it's nice and tight. Looks good. Give it another wrap. And I'm going to squeeze the rings together. They're nice and close. That looks good. Very good. And keep wrapping. I like to give myself no less than 4 wraps. At least 4 to 6 wraps. And if you want a longer wrap, you can do that. But whatever you do on one side, you want to do on the other side when you make your loop. Okay. Give myself one more wrap just because I love a nice long coil. There we go. There. Nicely wrapped. And now I can cut it off. Leave the tail that you wrapped over on there. And let's cut off the wrapping wire. Oh, let's bring it around on top of the wrap, on top of that wire that you've been wrapping over. Okay, because I'm going to make a little decoration. So I can put my decoration over the tail of my wire, which is nice because then I don't have to worry about that snagging on anything. Okay, let's clip that off. Notice how I held on to the end of that so that it won't go flying off to parts unknown. I'm going to push that down, that little edge. Okay, and now here's where it depends on what you want to do. I could cut this off and be finished, or what I'm going to do is make a little decoration. I'm just basically going to give myself a little spiral on top of my wraps. Once I get to the end, I'll curve it around with my pliers. And tuck it under the other wires. Won't snag me. Scratch my neck. Just hide it under there. Okay. Get down there. Nice. So now I have a little spiral. And let's finish it off. So now I need to make my hook. So I'm going to squeeze this together as much as I can. Get nice and close. My wires side by side. And I'm going to give myself a little bend at the tip here. Just bend it back with the tip of my pliers. So I have a little bend. Then I'm going to bend it in the same direction that I made the little bend, like a big bend down here, like so. And now I'm going to make my loop. And it depends on what you want. This is very long, so I'm going to wrap it over here, over my ink pen. So I have a nice big hook. There. Put it down, push it down, shape it a little bit with my fingers or my pliers. Squeeze. And there's my hook. I gave myself way too much. I could have made this smaller. That's okay. Got a nice long hook. There's my hook. Yay! Nice. It's one of the easiest things to do that everybody seems to just love. So there we go. And see how much different this one looks from this one? Because this one I used my pliers. I just used my pliers and made a long one. This one is a little more stylized. But I thought this went really well. This is a smaller stone. Actually, this is dinosaur poop. This is awesome. And this is a bigger stone. So I thought, well, why not match out the size of my stone with the size of my hook? All right, so much dilly-dallying. Let's go on and make the loop side of my hook or my clasp. So for that, I'm going to get 4.5 inches. And again, I only need 4 unless I want to put my little spiral on, which I'm going to go ahead, match up the other side and give it a spiral too. So I need 4.5 if I want a spiral and only 4 if I don't. Your choice. All right, again, I want to fold this over so that I have a good 1.25 inch tail, just like I did last time, so that I can make my little spiral. 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, there we go. Yeah. Fold it over and squeeze until the ends of my wire are side by side. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. these as much as I can with my fingers. And then I go and get my pliers to finish the job. Okay. Lots of patience. Squeezing a little bit. What am I doing? This is wrong. I'm making another hook. Ah, Lord. I'm supposed to be making a loop. Let's try that again, shall we? I have enough here that I can use this for something. So no waste. 4.5. My gosh, it's terrible. All right. Don't bend. The bend is for the hook, not the loop. So I just want to give myself 1.25 inches of wire. And then I just want to bend it there, just like that. Then I'm going to give myself a nice big loop for my hook to go through. Make myself a loop. Here we go. Here's my loop. And I'm going to start a wrap, just like we did on the other side. So just start it. Grab the other end of my wire, of my cord, and I slide that in right there beside the short tail of wire, right in between where my loop is. Get up there. There we go. And I just wrap that tail around the cord and my short tail of wire, wrapping the long tail around. And I start my coil. Just wrap it around, just like we did on the other side. I'm holding on to the loop. You can use your pliers to hold it if you want to. I'm just holding it with my fingers. I'm just going to wrap until I have the same size coil that I did on the other side. I think I did 5 or 6 wraps over there. I'm going to check. And do that. One more little coil. And shape my wrap, see, space. Let's fix that little space that's in there. Push those coils together. It's an easy fix. And finish it off on top where my wire is, where my little short tail of wire is. That's where we're going to cut it off. Okay, let's push that end down. Curve that around. Let's cut that off. So it's right there on top of that tail of wire. Got that little end here. I don't want that to go flying, so I'm going to find something with a little well that I can snip it off and drop it into. There. There's my little tip. Here's the end of my wire. I'm going to take my pliers and just push that down next to the other coils. So there we go. There's my loop. Now, again, I could just cut that off and be finished, or I can make a little spiral like I did on the other side, and that's what I'm going to do because I want to cover up my little tail end. Now you can make the spiral the way I'm doing it from the bottom to top, or you can use your pliers and make a spiral. It's up to you. This is free form. They don't have to look exactly the same. So I showed you how to do the other way. And I think I'll show you how to do it this way. So I just grab the end of my wire with the tip of my pliers, make a tiny little loop, tiny loop. And then I just keep wrapping the wire around itself. I'm going to use my pliers for that. And the other spiral was nice and loose. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just wrapping the wire around itself. Nice and free. Until I have no more wire left to curl. And there we go. There's my little spiral on the other side. Okay. Check it out. Here's my clasp. Spirals on both ends. Cute, cute, cute. There we go. I like to make sure that this is nice and kind of tight against my coils. That way, I know this won't just slide out. See, it'll get caught on the coils. And then I just have to pull it out. And then it snaps back into place, and then I put it back on. See, but it won't come apart. Isn't that awesome? Yay, there's my cord. So now, and notice how, remember we made a big enough bail so that I can put it on this, but I can put it on something else. It slides right in there. There we go. And here's our piece. Ta-da. Isn't that neat? I can't get it to do what I want it to do. Lay down, because it's cord. And it says, I do what I want. But there it is. So you can take one of these rocks, make it into a pendant. And I like using the cord because it's not heavy. The rock's already large. So depending on the density of the rock, it can get a little heavy. But I tried this with another one, and it really wears nicely. Putting it over my head. It wears nicely. It's not too heavy. I thought it would be. I have one that's even bigger than this, much bigger actually. And it gets so many compliments. It's not that heavy at all. And I love it. Oh, darn, I knew you weren't going to be able to see it. And I just love it. Isn't that awesome? I love it. So you can make it whatever length you want. If you want it longer, it's longer, but I can't show you on camera unless I scoot way, way back here. You can't see the length. There. Ta-da. There's my rock. Okay. And this guy, so you can see it better. There we go. There we go. Isn't that lovely? I just love it. Easy. It's probably the easiest wrap you can do, and it's just for non-conforming rocks that don't have any particular shape. I mean, it's really nice if what you have is a nice cabochon, and it's got a nice form. It's a nice, perfectly symmetrical oval or round or square or rectangle. But what the heck do you do with this? That's what you do with it. And then we make our own clasp. Turn that little raggedy thing around so you can see my clasp. Isn't that great? And turn it away from the light so you don't get any glare. Isn't that awesome? Beautiful. There's a little wrap on the side. That's the back. Well, that's my back. It's got a little curvature across. So there you have it. Easy as pie. I just wanted to give you something that you could use if you get a stone that you find when you are finally able to go someplace and find something really neat to work with. You find one of these and you polish it up, but you don't want to shave it down into a particular shape because you'll lose most of your rock. That's what you can do. You can pretty much make anything into a pendant. Anything that you find, you can make it into a pendant if you know some basic wire wrapping. So such a neat skill to have. Such an easy thing to do. I've seen little kids do this. They don't even give it a second thought. Wrap, 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 wrap. Yeah, on. There it is. We get really caught up in symmetry and things like that. But as you can see, free form is the way to go when you have something like this. It's a lot more fun. I mean, it's just a lot more fun. Anyway, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll do it. And I hope that you'll, if you don't get one of the kits, if you get one of the kits, you're going to get one of these rocks. These nice tumbled, shiny rocks. I might even give you two. We'll see. And you're going to get some leather cord and enough wire to wrap. And I want you to have a field day. And then I want you to be able to take this, because one of the reasons I wanted to do something like this is because everybody doesn't have access to a pretty cabochon or something like that, or they might not want to have to buy one. So you can go out, and if you find a really interesting looking rock, I want you to be able to wrap it. And so if you don't have something that is controlled by a particular shape, that this wrap will do it. Easiest wrap in the world. It's one of the things that ways that you wrap crystals and anything that's got a non-symmetrical shape. I guess that's what that's all about. So anyway, have fun with this. Please let me see what you do. If you find your own stones and rocks that you want to wrap, and show me your creativity, because I really want to see it. Okay? And post it on the library Facebook page if you get a chance, so that we can see what you've done with this video. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and I hope to see you again soon, or I hope you will see me again soon. And until then, so long.